Sergeant Vasquez, Dallas Police Department.
The Dallas Police Department, okay.
You messaged or emailed our chief?
Yeah, I was watching a video with a gentleman by the name of something Johnson, I believe. He was awarded $1.1 million. The police officer, I can't remember his name, at something.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce.
Yeah. So what's the deal there? I mean, it almost appears to me that you guys could be guilty of aiding and abetting a criminal. What do you think about that?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you know, he lied in his police report.
Are you talking about the officer?
Yeah.
Okay, he quit under investigation.
He what? Quit under investigation?
He quit under investigation.
Right.
How
So,
does that could be?
okay, well, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just, you know, it appears that, you know, the people, when we supposedly do something wrong, you know, you guys are all over us. And then half your laws aren't even just. I mean, and now that a police officer, you know, I mean, this is happening all over the country.
Correct.
You know, and I don't know if you guys realize this, but our states, our country, our police departments, our cities are all corporations owned by international bankers. Do you even realize that?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. We're all owned by international bankers, and the contract is the social security card and the birth certificate. It creates a corporation, which is our name in capital letters, and that's the only way that you guys have jurisdiction, is when we sign to this capital letter name.
Right.
So,
What is it that you would like?
well, you know, justice for one thing. I mean, what do you?
You're correct. He quit under investigation once we started. Once we got a hold of all the information, and they started doing the investigation on the officer, and he decided to go ahead and quit.
Yeah.
However, that does not mean that he's not going to be prosecuted through the court.
Right. So he may.
It just takes the courts a little bit longer to, you know, get through all the paperwork and.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was one of my main concerns, is that the possibility that you guys were aiding and abetting. You know, I see a lot of times where, you know, in videos where, you know, an officer will be tasing somebody and the other officers aren't doing anything. I mean, it's almost like they see a crime being committed by their fellow officer and they do absolutely nothing. I mean, that's aiding and abetting. Would you agree?
Well, most times when the taser, when we're having to tase a subject, the officers are on standby until the shock has done its job, and then they move in to take the guy or the person down.
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of videos, and this is just videos. This isn't even, you know, documenting the ones that are not on video. You know, where the video clearly shows that the officer's out of line, and the other officers are joining in the beatdown.
Well, I can tell you, most times, like the officers that were in this incident, in this video, they caught wind of it. They were going to assist an officer, and they were, in their minds, they were doing what they
Right.
do.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
And so, I mean, with, you know, the 80 other officers aiding, it's, you know.
Well, what about that? Yeah, ma'am, what about that guy that was kicking him? I mean, why would he join in to kicking a subject when he's down on the ground?
Well,
I mean, there's no need for that. I mean, that could be me on the ground. For God's sake, that could be you on the ground.
When somebody's resisting, you know, we have different strikes, different techniques that we use to get him to stop resisting. At that point, that officer did not know the subject was, you know, done anything to begin with, and all that he was doing was resisting. Obviously, he was resisting because he knew he hadn't done anything wrong.
Right.
So the sole purpose of officers going to attack, basically to subdue him,
right,
was, to
Ma'am.
take control of him.
Yeah,
And all they
ma'am.
knew was that he was not cooperating.
Well, ma'am, don't you think the proper and humane way to deal with this is if they see somebody like this gentleman, I don't know if he did in fact throw any cans. I mean, that would be kind of our word against your word. Wouldn't the right thing to do be to give the guy a ticket, let him come to court, and then let the court of law determine whether he was guilty or not, rather than having the officer?
And that is exactly why that officer probably quit under investigation.
Right.
Because he knew he was wrong. Because
Yeah.
though we are officers, not everybody in here makes the right decision. And when they don't make the right decision, they have to go through the proper
Yeah.
punishments because we don't tolerate that.
Yeah.
It's not tolerated. Like you said, it happens all the time. Correct. Nobody is perfect, not even officers.
Yes,
And
I agree
when
with
that
you.
happens, we have our internal affairs division get a hold of that
Yes.
and make sure that officer is dealt with.
Well, ma'am, one of my points that I'd like to make is that you guys are a corporation. You're funded by money that is created out of the expense of our children through the birth certificate, and that's illegitimate. Our forefathers said that's illegitimate. You guys are operating an illegitimate business, and you guys are bankrupt. I'm no longer bankrupt because I came out of the system of bankruptcy. But that is the problem with our government, is that we are bankrupt people. We're breaking the law, we're breaking the Constitution, and most officers don't even care about the Constitution. What they're doing is they're following orders from somebody who they assume knows the law, the Constitution, and they're just receiving a paycheck.
Right.
Well, I have to let you go, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
You have a better day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Trying to call you.